and today will share their story and success in building a sustainable organization with us. Joining me today are Diane Freeman, President of PEO, Kim Allen, CEO, and Eric Brown, Director of IT. With that, I'd like to hand over the discussion to Diane Freeman, President of PEO. Over to you, Diane.
Well, thanks so much, Joel. It's a pleasure to be a part of this webcast. And in addition to being President of Professional Engineers Ontario, I also work as a counselor with the City of Waterloo, where IT is certainly the backbone of our city, having won the Intelligent Communities Award in 2007. And I'm also an engineering consultant with Conestoga Rovers and Associates, again, a company very in tune with IT. I wanted to share a little bit about our association. Professional Engineers Ontario governs over 80,000 license and certificate holders and regulates professional engineering in Ontario to serve and protect the public. We have about 100 staff on site and about 900 active volunteers from all over the province. These volunteers work out of our 36 chapters. Some of them work on 28 committees of our organization, and we also have 7 task groups. The sustainability journey of Professional Engineers Ontario began when we purchased a 22-year-old 100,000 square foot building in March of 2009. At that time, we made a commitment to achieve leadership in environmental design and EVOM certification in order to showcase our commitment to sustainable principles and environmental stewardship. We began to work with architects and office designers who would be responsible for our office renovations. We asked them to look for opportunities to introduce recycling, to reduce carbon emissions, and to be more energy efficient. Before we discuss what's been done in IT, I thought we'd like to highlight some of our building initiatives, so I'm going to turn things over to Kim Allen. I should say that I'm joined on this call by Kim Allen, as you heard, who's the CEO or Chief Executive Officer and the Registrar, as well Eric Brown, who's the Director of Information and Technology Services for Professional Engineers Ontario. So with those short introductions, Kim, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great, thanks very much, Diane. I'm responsible for the administration of the Professional Engineers Act and the overall operation of PEO. When we moved from 25 Shepherd Avenue, which is just across the street from our new location at 40 Shepherd Avenue, when we moved, we actually donated about 85% of our old furniture to various different charities and different organizations. The old furniture just wouldn't fit into our space and create the open and ergonomic office space with the flexibility and functional work areas that we're looking for. We've also started a number of construction projects. Mechanically, we are replacing the existing heat pumps with a dedicated compartmental unit on each floor. We're replacing existing water pumps and installing a building automation system that interfaces with our mechanical and lighting systems. We've engaged in a multi-year phase-out of the H mechanical system, which will result in significant energy savings, easier maintenance, and better acoustics. On the electrical side, our retrofit includes replacement of all the fluorescent fixtures. This will result in a smarter lighting schedule that incorporates daylight and occupancy sensors and automated controls. We're actually reducing the number of fixtures by about 40% in the building to provide the appropriate lighting levels in it. The new fixtures will be safer because of the reduced mercury content, and they too provide significant energy savings. When we're done with both the mechanical and electrical retrofits, the project will reduce our energy consumption by over 50% from our current level. As we strive to enhance indoor air quality by specifying low-emitting adhesive sealants, paints, coatings, composite wood, and furniture systems, we've moved to an open office design where every employee can see daylight seated from their desk. Our ergonomic desk, monitoring arms, tables, chairs are also made from low-emitting materials and a large content of recycled content in each of them. We are installing lighting controls with motion detectors in office and meeting rooms to ensure that the lights aren't left on when there's no one there. Our work areas and meeting rooms are also modular and high-tech. For example, our main meeting room on the main floor sits on top of a raised floor that allows us to run all the power and data cables underfloor and provides great flexibility for the room to reconfigure into a number of various different configurations. We've also installed Crestron wall panel units to control room features that include lights, blinds, the projectors, digital recordings, desktop microphones, built-in teleconferencing, and a BrightLink interactive projector technology that will replace flip charts and the whiteboards. But most of you are probably aware, more interesting in what we've done with IT. So let me turn the microphone over to Eric Brown, our Director of Information and Technology Services. Eric?
Thanks, Kim. It's an honor to be with all of you and to be part of Infotech's webcast. We've really done some amazing things at PEO, which is why in 2010 we were honored with the award for the Quest for Canada's Greenest IT Department. As part of our submission, we had noted that we had outsourced and consolidated our servers. In 2008, we consolidated 37 in-house servers into only 12 that are now hosted at our outsourced vendor, that's Savvis in Mississauga. Our server room at our new building is now only 10% of the space we had used at the old building and consumes much less energy. We've installed wiring cabinets on each floor in our building with smart switches, and through these smart switches we can monitor ports, configure trunks, set network priorities, all done through a web interface. We virtualized our development and test environment using VMware, and we are now looking to virtualize our production environment where we can in order to better utilize available resources and increase the efficiency of the servers. Virtualization will also provide us with an opportunity to do more than simply cut our electricity bill. It will provide an opportunity to completely rethink our existing IT strategy and reorganize our practices and management responsibilities to be more cost-effective and introduce real agility into our operations. Our most impressive results have come from tremendous savings we are enjoying by rethinking our printer strategy. Our decision when we moved across from our old location to replace 104 personal inkjet printers, that was effectively one printer per staff member, with 15 energy-efficient laser printers and 5 multifunction print copy units, has produced substantial savings both in ink and paper consumption. By removing the inkjets, we have saved $19,000 on printer ink, which is a third of what we used to spend on ink, and we have reduced our paper consumption by a quarter. And we plan to do much more on the printer side. We've just introduced Green Print Technology software, which analyzes our printing practices both at a user level and at a printer level. The tool will assist both the IT group and the PEO staff to make better printing selections. If Green Print's claims are correct, we should see a 30% saving simply by giving staff feedback on their printing practices. We also plan to ensure that future printer purchases include the ability for duplex printing, that's printing on both sides of the paper, and we plan to set up duplex printing as the default. When we put this presentation together, we came across an interesting item we thought we would share. According to the Wall Street Journal, printer ink is extremely expensive. It is more expensive than gas, than beer, vodka, penicillin, and insulin. But it is still cheaper than Chanel No. 5 or Cobra Venom if you're in the market for such. It's estimated that the retail price of a gallon of printer ink is about $10,000. Like many businesses, PEO is striving to reduce paper consumption, to become paperless. Toward this goal in 2010, we replaced 4 fax machines that wasted power and paper with a fax over IP solution that allows staff to fax and pick up their faxes from their desktop computers. Junk faxes that once printed, wasting paper, are now electronic PDFs that can be easily deleted. In keeping with our desire to reduce paper consumption and travel costs for staff and our 900 volunteers, we have introduced online collaborative technology. Adobe Connect Pro for webcasts and web meetings reduces travel and expenses and allows us to connect to a wider audience. Central Desktop, an online collaboration and project management tool, enables users to create workspaces, share files and documents, manage task lists, and engage in group discussions online. And SharePoint 2007 is now our primary document repository and has recently been extended to our 900 volunteers thanks to Microsoft's new licensing policy. Other initiatives include recycling. We recycle toner, computers, printers, keyboards, and batteries. In fact, staff are encouraged to bring in their batteries from home to add to our recycling boxes. Changing the way we do business is the greatest challenge, not technology. We are now reviewing our business processes to find opportunities to reduce paper and waste. We're going after the lowest hanging fruit first, but we do plan on working with staff to find other opportunities. So far, we've been able to offer our members an electronic version of our association's magazine, Reducing Paper. We offer online fee payment, exam purchasing, and online receipts. And we provide our council and committee members with electronic material where possible. In the near future, we want to extend this to include online license applications, so the interaction between the applicant and PEO is all electronic, as well as expense reimbursement filing for our volunteers and staff. Wherever possible, we want to communicate with our members electronically rather than by paper and post. It saves trees, it saves money. Where IT can make a difference in what is purchased, our green purchasing policy gives preference to products that meet national environmental standards, ENERGY STAR rated computers and appliances, reusable and durable supplies and materials, products with maximum available recycled content, products with minimal packaging, and for paper products, unbleached and non-de-inked with a high recycled content. Kim, why don't you tell them a bit about our green team?
Sure, gladly, Eric. Thank you. To maintain momentum for our sustainability efforts at PEO, we formed a green team to ensure that green initiatives will be incorporated association-wide. This group has deployed a number of initiatives in line with achieving a healthier workplace. For example, our STEP challenge was not only fun, but it was very successful. We gave staff pedometers and encouraged them to walk or use the stairs instead of elevators. Anyone exceeding 240,000 steps in 8 weeks was rewarded with a gift certificate. The Green Team is teamed up with the Toronto Public Health Department to bring in resources to ensure health and well-being of staff. This includes conducting a health survey and bringing in speakers to discuss healthier, more environmentally friendly food selections. We have found that by empowering staff to make greener decisions solidifies their commitment to sustainability. Diane, why don't you wrap up the session for us?
I'd be happy to. So green, environmentally friendly, or sustainable, whichever the word is that you'd like to describe our efforts, the meaning is really the same. Sustainability, the current and most all-encompassing term, can be defined as meeting our association's goals and objectives and our license holders' needs in a way that demonstrates continuous improvement towards minimizing negative impact on people and the natural environment. There's a real paradigm shift at Professional Engineers Ontario. We want to be good environmental stewards. Maybe because we are engineers, we tend to focus on the how rather than the why of sustainability. But sustainability efforts really are woven into every aspect of our association, from our decision to move to an older building and then retrofitting it to achieve leadership in environmental design certification, to engaging staff in healthy programs such as a STEP challenge that encourages staff to walk and take the stairs instead of using the elevator. And of course, IT plays a huge role in PEO's green plans and green initiatives, and contributes to making Professional Engineers Ontario become a better, healthier, and greener corporate citizen. Thank you so much for joining us on this call, and now I'll open this to any questions.
Great. Well, thank you, Diane, Kim, and Eric. You've illustrated some great points on what organizations, individuals, and the IT department can start doing today. Our goal at Canada's Smartest IT is to provide our community with the support, the research, and the recognition of IT excellence in organizations across Canada. More information, obviously, is available at our website, www.smartest-it.ca. During the presentation, several questions did come up, and I'll go ahead and start kicking those off to the team right now. I guess the first one was, where did this idea come from, given you're an association? Was this association or membership-led?
I can start off with that question. Back in 2009, when we were looking at acquiring a new building, a call went out to the license holders and certificate holders to ask whether they would have a willingness to contribute more through their annual fees so that they could have a building that would showcase environmental design and would showcase the up-to-date thinking in terms of building design and building operation and maintenance. And the membership came back and said, yes, they would like to do that. And so this investment in the building has been started through that membership-led referendum. In terms of the building attributes, I'd like to turn that over to Kim.
Sure. As we went through the whole building concept and we acquired the building, we ran a number of different focus groups with members and volunteers as we went through the whole building concept and design. And it was front and center of what people wanted to see. They wanted to see a very healthy design. They wanted to see it bright. They wanted to see it as much natural light as possible. And leading things that engineers like to see is that it's extremely an efficient building in terms of how it actually functions from a mechanical system. So those are the types of things that we've built into it. And the efforts along with where staff have gone and where IT have gone are simply an extension of that whole philosophy of what we want to do.
Great, great. Obviously, you know, we're all running businesses today, so another question came in around ROI. Where are you seeing ROI today, and where do you expect to see ROI through your sustainable practices in the future?
I'll take that one. The main driver wasn't so much ROI. That's more a benefit that comes to us. What we're really focused on is service back to our membership, and we're always asking ourselves, how can we better meet the needs of our members? And as a result of this, a number of initiatives emerged. For instance, we offered our engineering dimensions to our members electronically, so they get access to it much faster. And in so doing, I'll just mention that we save printing 5 million pages a year by offering it out electronically. We mentioned that we have started offering receipts online, and we're now printing. We now expect that we're saving about $18,000 annually because we're no longer printing those receipts. We're no longer stuffing them in envelopes. We're no longer paying in postage. So by giving access to our information, moving to the electronic interaction rather than paper, it's more convenient for our members, and the savings come to PEO as a side benefit, which is, I think, the best way to be viewing this.
One of the questions from the audience is increasing productivity and operational efficiency considered green?
I would answer that question again from the perspective we focus on better service to our members, and if we are delivering their, addressing their needs in a faster mechanism, and we're doing so in a way that reduces our costs, it's definitely a benefit to the organization.
Yeah, and I guess to go a little further on that, I really think it depends on what are the savings and the improvements and how are they driven. Things that require, again, less staff resources, less travel, less all those ones will contribute to the whole sustainable effort that we're trying to advance in. But I think as Eric's been walking through is that we want to ensure that our quality of service and our standards that are met, that we're not compromising on those simply at the sake of trying to save costs and in there. So we see that sustainability has to fulfill our mandate and go hand in hand with how best we deliver it.
If I can jump in too, I think that a lot of the initiatives are indeed green. I mean, I can't recall, Eric, did you mention the town halls that we recently held?
I didn't mention that. I should just point out that we recently went through a series of town hall meetings for our membership, and over a third of the participants were coming in over audio conference and viewing the proceedings on a webcast. So we definitely extended out our interaction with our membership, and in a fairly both cost-effective and green manner.
And I think that even though we're working really hard at that, I think we're just scratching the surface of the iceberg on that one, because when you look at the fact that we have 900 volunteers, that we have 38 chapters spread out through the province of Ontario, there's a lot more people, I think, that will start to value and place faith and trust in the use of things like webcasts and voice over internet as a means by which to participate from a volunteer perspective. And fundamentally, getting the cars off the road is green. And that's not necessarily the only reason for doing it, but it's going to be a big outcome.
And Diane, that leads perfect into another question, and I'm sure you can offer some thoughts here. It's, what kind of analysis of the carbon footprint have you done as far as reducing that in terms of flights by the organization and or its members based on these online collaborative tools and online services you're offering? Have you done any analysis? Or any tools that you can recommend to our listeners?
Yeah, we've actually gone through talked with a couple of consulting engineering studies that would do a full carbon footprint analysis of what we're putting in. And we looked at, do we have to actually do the before and after pictures, do the before picture before we do the after picture? And the feedback we actually got from the firms is that, no, you can do them simultaneously. And what you really want to do is set up your tracking systems as we're going through. Since we're making such fundamental changes to our building automation system, and we're trying to drive the feed into those carbon footprint studies in through that a system-sized approach as opposed to tracking an individual basis, we deferred that initial study to the end. Our plan is that by this time next year we'll actually have what was the building performance when we acquired it back in the 2009 year-end, 2010 year-end of 2011, and we'll have head-to-head comparisons on those ones and track that number on the path forward.
I'll just add to Kim's comments about our moving forward. I also happen to be the fellow who takes care of the building here as well as the IT, and we have started working with our property manager to introduce the metrics for our carbon footprint analysis. So this will actually be taken care of by our property manager to provide the numbers back to us for this sort of analysis.
The other little piece with it is part of our change into the whole sustainability one is that we just went through the full request for proposal and assessed it. And one of the leading components on selecting who our property manager is going to be for the building was their commitment to sustainability and how to put those things in, those types of systems in place. And so we've implemented ones with our property manager with green cleaning products in through the building, and so we want them looking at every aspect of how we actually operate the building. One of the key components for selecting the folks that we did.
Great, that's very interesting. I guess one last question. Given, as an association, you service both your internal employees as well as a larger community of professionals across Ontario. What kind of feedback have you gotten about how your membership base is taking some of your thought leadership, your ideas, and implementing this within their own organization?
I think there's a lot of interest on the part of the membership. We're always being asked questions about this when we're going out working to the volunteers and so on. We've also been promoting our initiatives through our the electronic magazine I mentioned, Engineering Dimensions. So there's definite material going out. We're planning to introduce, this is not a feature in place yet, but we are planning to introduce a public center, kind of a museum of engineering, but we're also going to be showcasing within our building our initiatives in this area so that we can become an example for other buildings in the Greater Toronto Area and in fact around the world of how to maintain a sustainable operation, how to have a sustainable building. So we're definitely focused on making or sharing our story as widely as we can.
And it's interesting as we've actually had the folks go through it, so the mechanical and the electrical engineers who have been involved with our retrofit programs, they're both have committed to writing the appropriate articles about how what we're putting in is at the state of the art in terms of energy efficiency, and that it's a smart decision. One of the very interesting challenges we had is that they all are actually members of the organization, and so we put to them saying, okay, you got to think of this as you know, ensuring that we're doing a good job spending your money on implementing these solutions. And so we challenge the engineers that how do you actually come up with what is best in terms of those ones, and saying you're going to have to stand up to your colleagues in the profession and saying these are why we made those types of decisions, and this is why it's good for PEO, and this is why it's just smart business to do those types of things.
Great. Well, this is Joel Martin. With that, I would like to close off the question and answer session. Again, thank you again, Professional Engineers Ontario, Diane, Kim, Eric. All your examples, your thought leadership was greatly appreciated. This webcast will be made available on the www.smartest-it.ca website to be shared, to be viewed again, etc. So again, thank you again to PEO as well as our listeners today, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Well, thank you, Joel, and thank you, Infotech.
Thank you.